Grandma's 15 best indoor gardening hacks you'll wish you knew sooner. Hey there, plant lovers. Have you ever wondered how some people manage to keep their indoor plants looking lush, vibrant, and full of life, while others struggle with droopy leaves and stubborn, unhappy greenery? Well, let me tell you a little secret, it's not just luck. It's all about knowing the right tricks. If you're someone who loves bringing nature indoors but often finds yourself wondering, why is my plant turning yellow? Or, am I watering too much or too little? Then you're in the right place. Whether you're a beginner just starting your plant journey or a seasoned green thumb looking to refine your skills, today's video is packed with some of the best kept secrets for growing healthier, happier houseplants. And guess what? These aren't just any tricks. These are time-tested, grandma-approved hacks that have been passed down through generations, simple, natural, and incredibly effective. Some of them might even surprise you, but once you try them, you'll wonder how you ever took care of plants without them. So, stay with me until the end, because I guarantee you'll pick up at least one game-changing tip that will make all the difference in your indoor garden. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more amazing plant care tips here on Earthly Delights. Now, let's get started. 1. Place a copper penny in pots, a simple trick to keep your plants healthy. Now, let's talk about something unexpectedly powerful, a simple copper penny. Yep, that tiny coin sitting at the bottom of your drawer could be the secret weapon your indoor plants need. If you've ever dealt with moldy soil, pesky fungi, or stubborn root rot, you know how frustrating it can be. One day your plant looks fine, and the next, there's that white fuzzy layer on top of the soil, blocking nutrients and suffocating the roots. But here's where the magic happens. Copper has natural antifungal properties. When placed in soil, it releases tiny amounts of copper ions, creating an invisible shield against mold and harmful bacteria. Grandma knew this trick well. She would drop a clean copper penny at the bottom of her pots before adding soil. Not only did this help with drainage, but it also worked as a slow-release protection system for her plants. Some gardeners even place pennies on the soil's surface to keep fungus gnats away. So, the next time you repot a plant, try this hack. Just make sure you're using pre-1982 pennies, since newer ones don't contain as much copper. It's a small step that makes a big difference in your plant's health. And don't worry, we're just getting started. The next tip? It's a game changer for giving your plants a natural nutrient boost. Using something you already have in your kitchen. Stick around. 2. Water plants with cooled boiled egg water, a natural calcium boost. Here's a brilliant hack that turns something you'd normally throw away into liquid gold for your plants. You know that water left over after boiling eggs? Instead of pouring it down the drain, save it, because it's packed with calcium, an essential nutrient that strengthens plant cell walls and promotes healthy, vibrant growth. If you've ever seen your plants developing weak, flimsy stems or browning leaf edges, it might be a sign of calcium deficiency. Just like we need strong bones, plants need strong cell structures to support their growth. And what's a natural and completely free way to give them that boost? You guessed it, boiled egg water. The process is simple. After boiling eggs, let the water cool completely before using it. Then, pour it directly onto the soil around your plants. The minerals from the eggshells infuse into the water, giving your plants a gentle but effective dose of calcium without any artificial fertilizers. This was one of Grandma's favorite tricks, and it makes so much sense. Why waste what nature gives us when we can reuse and recycle in the garden? So next time you make breakfast, set that egg water aside. Your plants will thank you with stronger roots, greener leaves, and healthier growth. And speaking of reusing kitchen waste, up next is another fantastic fertilizer trick using something you probably drink every day. Stay with me. This one's a favorite among plant lovers. 3. Use leftover tea as fertilizer, a gentle, nutrient-rich boost for your plants. If you're a tea drinker, this next hack is going to change the way you see your daily cup. Instead of tossing out that leftover tea or used tea bags, you can repurpose them into a natural fertilizer that gently nourishes your plants. Tea leaves contain tannins, nitrogen, and essential nutrients that improve soil health and promote lush, vibrant growth. If your plants have been looking a little dull or lifeless, A simple tea treatment might be just what they need. Grandma always believed that plants, like people, appreciate a warm, nourishing drink, and she wasn't wrong. There are a couple of easy ways to use tea for plant care. First, if you have leftover, unsweetened tea, simply let it cool and pour it directly onto the soil. The mild acidity in the tea makes it especially great for ferns, orchids, and other acid-loving plants. If you use tea bags, you can bury them near the roots for a slow-release fertilizer effect. As the tea bag breaks down, it releases nutrients gradually, helping your plants thrive over time. But here's a little pro tip: avoid flavored or sugary teas, as they can attract pests or introduce unwanted additives to the soil. Stick with pure black, green, or herbal teas for the best results. So the next time you enjoy a warm cup of tea, remember, your plants might love it just as much as you do. And speaking of hydration, our next tip is a clever way to keep your plants watered slowly and steadily, without any extra effort. Stay with me for this genius trick. 4. Ice cubes for slow watering, a simple hack for consistent moisture. Ever worry about overwatering or forgetting to water your plants while you're away? Well, here's a brilliant, hands-off solution that keeps your plants hydrated without drowning them, using something you already have in your freezer: ice cubes. This trick is perfect for plants that like consistent moisture, like orchids, ferns, and peace lilies, instead of dumping water all at once, which can lead to root rot or uneven absorption. Placing a few ice cubes on the soil allows water to melt slowly, giving your plant's roots time to absorb it at the right pace. Grandma loved this method, especially when she needed to step away from her plants for a few days. It's also a lifesaver if you have delicate plants that hate soggy soil. The slow melting of ice prevents sudden flooding and helps maintain ideal hydration levels. To use this trick, simply scatter a couple of ice cubes around the base of your plant, making sure they don't touch the leaves. As the ice melts, the soil will absorb just the right amount of moisture. For smaller pots, 1 cube is enough. For larger ones, you can add 2 or 3. It's such a simple trick, but the benefits are huge: less risk of overwatering, no wasted water, and a steady hydration system your plants will love. And speaking of optimizing soil health, up next is a classic gardening secret that helps acid-loving plants thrive. If you grow ferns, hydrangeas, or azaleas, you won't want to miss this one. 5. Vinegar for acid-loving plants, the secret to thriving greenery. If you've ever struggled with plants that just don't seem happy, leaves turning yellow, slow growth, or a general lack of vibrancy, it might not be your watering routine. The real issue could be the soil's pH. And guess what? There's a simple, natural fix sitting in your kitchen: vinegar. Certain plants, like ferns, azaleas, hydrangeas, and blueberries, love acidic soil, but over time, watering and nutrients can neutralize the acidity they need to thrive. That's where vinegar comes in. It's a quick and easy way to lower soil pH and create the perfect growing environment for your acid-loving plants. Grandma always kept a bottle of white vinegar in her gardening kit. She'd mix 1 tablespoon of vinegar with a gallon of water and use it to water her ferns every few weeks. The result? Lush, deep green leaves and stronger roots. But be careful, a little goes a long way. Too much vinegar can make the soil too acidic. So only use this trick occasionally. And always test how your plants react. And if you're growing hydrangeas, here's a fun bonus: vinegar can actually help turn pink blooms blue by increasing soil acidity. So, if you have plants that crave a bit of extra acidity, try this gentle yet powerful hack. And speaking of boosting soil nutrients, the next tip is a completely free, all-natural way to give your plants a serious potassium boost. You won't want to miss it. 6. Crushed eggshells for calcium. Strengthen your plants from the ground up. If you've ever noticed your plants developing weak stems, curling leaves, or even strange brown spots, they might be begging for more calcium. Just like we need calcium for strong bones, plants need it for sturdy cell walls and healthy root development. And the best part? You don't need to buy expensive supplements, because the solution is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Eggshells. Grandma never wasted a thing. And that included eggshells. After making breakfast, she would rinse them out, let them dry, and then crush them into tiny pieces before mixing them into the soil. The eggshells slowly release calcium over time, preventing deficiencies that lead to stunted growth and brittle stems. This trick is especially helpful for plants like tomatoes and peppers, which are prone to calcium-related issues like blossom end rot. But really, any plant can benefit from this natural boost. You can sprinkle the crushed shells directly onto the soil. Or, if you want to supercharge their effect, soak them in water for a few days to create an eggshell tea, a nutrient-rich drink that strengthens your plants from the inside out. It's an effortless way to recycle kitchen waste and nourish your plants at the same time. And if you thought that was a great way to reuse food scraps, wait until you hear the next tip. It's a simple way to fertilize your plants using something you probably drink every single morning. Stay with me. 7. Use coffee grounds for extra nutrients, a wake-up call for your plants. If you're someone who can't start the day without a cup of coffee, here's some good news. Your plants love coffee too. Well, not exactly the coffee itself, but the used coffee grounds that most people throw away. Instead of tossing them in the trash, you can turn them into a powerhouse fertilizer that gives your plants a natural boost. Grandma always believed in using what you have, and coffee grounds were one of her go-to tricks for keeping her plants strong and vibrant. Rich in nitrogen, they help plants grow lush, deep green leaves, making them especially beneficial for foliage-heavy plants like snake plants, pothos, and ferns. If your plants are looking a little pale or weak, a sprinkle of coffee grounds can be just what they need. There are a couple of ways to use them. You can mix the grounds directly into the soil for a slow-release effect. Or you can brew a weak coffee tea by soaking the used grounds in water overnight and then watering your plants with the nutrient-infused liquid. Just remember, moderation is key. Too much can make the soil overly acidic. So start small and see how your plants respond. It's such a simple habit, but over time, you'll notice your plants looking healthier, greener, and more vibrant. And speaking of keeping plants looking their best, up next is a surprising trick that not only cleans your plants' leaves but also gives them a beautiful, natural shine. Stick around for this one. 8. Wipe leaves with milk for a healthy shine, the secret to dust-free, thriving plants. Have you ever noticed a layer of dust settling on your plant's leaves? It might seem harmless, but dust blocks sunlight, making it harder for your plants to photosynthesize and absorb the energy they need to thrive. Over time, this can lead to slower growth, dull leaves, and even pest problems. But don't worry, because there's a simple and unexpected solution: milk. Grandma always said, if it's good for bones, it's good for plants too. And she was right. Milk isn't just a great cleaner, it contains enzymes and proteins that gently remove dirt, leaving behind a natural shine without any harsh chemicals. Plus, its mild antibacterial properties can help prevent fungal infections on delicate leaves. All you need is a soft cloth and a little diluted milk. Mix 1 part milk with 2 parts water. Dip your cloth into the solution, and gently wipe both sides of each leaf. Not only will this clear away dust, but it also creates a protective layer that deters pests like spider mites. The results? Your plants will look fresher, healthier, and more vibrant, and they'll be able to soak up more light for stronger, faster growth. It's such a simple habit, but one that makes a world of difference, just like our next tip, which is all about keeping humidity levels just right for your indoor jungle. Stay with me. 9. Make a humidity tray with pebbles and water, a natural way to keep plants thriving. If you've ever struggled with dry, crispy leaves, especially during the colder months when indoor heating sucks the moisture out of the air, your plants might be desperate for more humidity. Some plants, like ferns, calathea, and orchids, absolutely thrive in tropical conditions, but recreating that environment inside your home isn't always easy. That's where a simple humidity tray comes in. Grandma had the perfect trick for this. No fancy gadgets needed. Just a shallow tray, some pebbles, and water. Here's how it works. The water sits beneath the pot, slowly evaporating over time, creating a gentle, plant-friendly microclimate that helps prevent leaf curling, browning, and drying out. Setting it up is easy. Just grab a shallow dish or tray, fill it with small stones or pebbles, and pour in enough water so it reaches just below the top of the pebbles. Then, place your plant pot right on top, but make sure the bottom of the pot isn't sitting in the water, as that can lead to root rot. Over time, as the water evaporates, it naturally increases humidity around your plant without making your entire home feel like a rainforest. And the best part? No maintenance required. Just top up the water when it gets low, and your plants will stay hydrated, happy, and looking their best. And speaking of effortless ways to give your plants the environment they love, up next is another brilliant trick for maintaining humidity without any extra effort on your part. You won't want to miss this one. 10. Place plants in the bathroom for a natural humidity boost. Let your showers do the work. If you've ever struggled to keep moisture-loving plants happy, you're not alone. Some plants crave humidity, and when they don't get enough, their leaves curl, dry out, or develop crispy brown edges. But instead of constantly misting them or buying a humidifier, why not let your daily routine do the work for you? Grandma always knew that the bathroom was the best-kept secret for humidity-loving plants. Think about it. Every time you take a hot shower, steam fills the air, creating the perfect tropical environment. By simply placing your plants in or near your bathroom, you're mimicking their natural habitat without lifting a finger. This trick works wonders for plants like ferns, orchids, peace lilies, and calathea, basically anything that thrives in a moist, jungle-like setting. The best spot? A windowsill, shelf, or corner that gets some indirect light. Even if your bathroom doesn't have a window, just the occasional steam bath can help your plants stay hydrated and vibrant. And here's a bonus. Your plants will help purify the air by absorbing excess moisture, preventing mold and improving air quality. It's a win-win for both you and your green friends. So if you've been struggling with dry, unhappy plants, try giving them a permanent spa retreat right in your own home. And up next, we're diving into a tried and true trick for protecting delicate seedlings and young plants from deadly fungal infections. Stick around for this one. 11. Sprinkle cinnamon to prevent fungal infections, a natural shield for your plants. If you've ever lost a young seedling to damping off disease, you know how heartbreaking it can be. One day, it's sprouting beautifully, and the next, it's suddenly wilting and collapsing at the base, no matter how well you cared for it. The culprit? Fungal infections in the soil. But don't worry, there's a simple, natural way to stop this problem before it even starts. Grandma always reached for a kitchen staple that's been used for centuries, not just in baking, but in plant care. 2. Cinnamon. This humble spice is a powerful antifungal agent, helping to protect young seedlings and houseplants from harmful mold and fungal infections. It's like a natural shield for your plants, keeping them strong and healthy. Using it is as easy as dusting a little over the soil. Just take a pinch of ground cinnamon and sprinkle it lightly over the surface of the potting mix, especially around seedlings or plants that seem prone to root rot and fungus. It won't harm the plant, but it will create a barrier that discourages fungal spores from growing. This trick is especially useful in damp conditions, like after watering or in humid environments. It also deters tiny pests like fungus gnats, making it a 2-in-1 solution for plant lovers. So, the next time you reach for cinnamon in the kitchen, set a little aside for your plants. A simple sprinkle can mean the difference between weak, struggling growth and strong, thriving plants. And speaking of plant support, up next is a surprising way to keep your climbing plants standing tall, without damaging their delicate stems. Stay with me for this one. 12. Use pantyhose to tie plants to supports, the gentle way to keep your plants upright. If you've ever tried staking or supporting a growing plant, you know that regular strings or twist ties can sometimes be too rough, cutting into the stems and causing more harm than good. So, what's the solution? Something soft, stretchy, and gentle. Something Grandma always kept in her drawer: pantyhose. It might sound surprising, but old pantyhose are perfect for supporting plants. The fabric is soft and flexible, meaning it holds your plants securely without strangling them as they grow. It stretches just enough to allow natural movement, preventing damage while still keeping everything upright. This trick works wonders for vining plants, tomatoes, climbing roses, or even tall, top-heavy indoor plants like monsteras and fiddle leaf figs. Just cut the pantyhose into thin strips. Tie them loosely around the plant, and secure them to a stake, trellis, or support structure. The result? A gentle, long-lasting hold that won't dig into delicate stems. Another bonus? Pantyhose are incredibly durable. They won't break down as quickly as cotton strings, meaning less maintenance for you. Plus, they blend into the background better than bulky twist ties, keeping your plant display looking clean and natural. So, before you throw out an old pair of tights, give them a second life in your garden. Your climbing and top-heavy plants will thank you with stronger, healthier growth. And up next, we're diving into a super simple trick that takes the guesswork out of watering your plants. No fancy gadgets needed. Stay with me for this one. 13. Use a wooden skewer to test soil moisture. No more overwatering or underwatering. One of the biggest mistakes plant lovers make, even the most experienced ones, is guessing when to water. Overwatering can lead to root rot, while underwatering leaves your plants dry and struggling. But what if I told you there's an easy, foolproof way to check if your plant actually needs water? And all you need is a wooden skewer or chopstick. Grandma always had a simple rule: check before you pour. Instead of relying on looks alone, she would gently stick a wooden skewer into the soil, just like testing a cake to see if it's done baking. If the skewer comes out clean and dry, the plant needs water. If it comes out with damp soil clinging to it, that means there's still moisture in the pot, and you can hold off on watering. This trick works especially well for deep pots where the surface might look dry, but the soil underneath is still holding onto moisture. It's a game changer for plants that are sensitive to overwatering, like succulents, cacti, and fiddle leaf figs. And the best part? No fancy gadgets required. Just a simple wooden skewer from your kitchen, and you'll never have to second-guess your watering routine again. So, before you reach for that watering can, do a quick skewer test. It takes just a few seconds, but it could save your plants from drowning or drying out. And speaking of soil health, up next is a trick that helps improve root growth and keep your soil light and airy, with something you probably have lying around the house. Stick around for this one. 14. Add activated charcoal to terrariums. Keep your miniature garden fresh and healthy. If you love terrariums, you probably already know that keeping the environment balanced is the key to a thriving mini ecosystem. But over time, moisture buildup, bacteria, and mold can turn a beautiful glass garden into a soggy, unhealthy mess. That's where Grandma's secret trick comes in: activated charcoal. Grandma always knew that good air circulation was essential, even in the smallest of spaces. That's why she would sprinkle a thin layer of activated charcoal at the bottom of her terrariums before adding soil. This simple step absorbs excess moisture, filters out impurities, and prevents unwanted odors, keeping the terrarium fresh and balanced. This hack is especially useful for closed terrariums, where humidity levels can quickly get out of control. The activated charcoal acts as a natural purifier, preventing mold from taking over and keeping the plants inside healthy and thriving. To use this trick, simply add a layer of activated charcoal, about ½ an inch thick, beneath your potting soil. This ensures that your plants get the right level of moisture while avoiding any unwanted fungal growth. And the best part? You only need to do this once when setting up your terrarium, making it an easy, long-term solution for plant health. So, if you want your terrarium to stay vibrant and problem-free, don't skip this step. And speaking of simple ways to improve plant health, up next is a surprisingly effective trick using something you sharpen every day. Stay with me. 15. Spray vinegar for ant control, a natural, chemical-free solution. Ants might seem harmless at first, but if you've ever found them crawling around your plant pots, you know how frustrating they can be. These tiny invaders aren't just a nuisance, they can actually bring pests like aphids, which feed on your plants and weaken their growth. But before you reach for chemical sprays, try Grandma's simple, natural solution: vinegar. Vinegar is a powerful deterrent for ants because it disrupts their scent trails, making it impossible for them to find their way back to your plants. The best part? It's completely safe for your plants and doesn't leave behind any harmful residues. To use this trick, mix equal parts white vinegar and water in a spray bottle. Then, spritz the mixture around the base of your plant pots, along window sills, or anywhere you see ants. Just be careful not to spray directly onto the soil or leaves, as vinegar can alter soil pH if used in large amounts. Within minutes, you'll notice the ants disappearing, and with regular use, they'll learn to stay away for good. It's an easy, non-toxic way to keep your plants pest-free while avoiding harsh chemicals in your home. And just like that, you now have 15 brilliant, grandma-approved gardening hacks to make indoor plant care easier, more effective, and more rewarding. But before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap and talk about how these simple tricks can transform your indoor garden. Stay with me for the final thoughts, wrapping up your indoor gardening journey. And there you have it, 15 simple yet powerful hacks that can completely transform the way you care for your indoor plants. From using everyday kitchen scraps to keeping pests away naturally, these time-tested tricks prove that gardening doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes the best solutions are the simplest ones. If you're someone who loves plants but struggles to keep them thriving, I hope these tips give you the confidence to experiment and grow. Whether you're a beginner just starting your plant journey or a seasoned green thumb looking for new tricks, remember, caring for plants is a journey, not a destination. There's always something new to learn, and the more you observe, the better you'll understand what your plants need. So tell me, which of these hacks are you most excited to try? Have you used any of these before? Or do you have your own secret gardening tip? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more plant care tips and gardening inspiration. Here on Earthly Delights, we're all about making plant care easy, enjoyable, and rewarding. So let's keep growing together, one leaf at a time. Thanks for watching, and happy gardening.